Good afternoon, race fans. It is time to go stock car racing on the street with the Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto. Before we meet today's starting lineup, please join me in welcoming today's honorary starter from Valvoline, Canada, David Watts. Please also give a big round of applause to our Grand Marshals for today's event from Freshstone Brands, Jennifer Booth, Haley Batenberg, and Jill Jennings. And now let's meet your starting grid, scheduled to roll off 26 from Blainville, Quebec. The Excellence Dodge Chrysler number 55, Serge Bordeaux. 25th from Montreal, Quebec, the Dagobert Tag E-Karting Chevrolet 91, JF LeBerge. 24th from Trois-Rivières, Quebec, the Kamloops Gilles Leduc Automation Dodge number 13, JF Dumoulin. 23rd from Hamilton, Ontario, the GSR Solo Performance Exhaust Halnar Mechanical Dodge number 4, Trevor Monahan. 22nd from Mirabel, Quebec, the Herbie's Lifts Anna Romatowska Remax Dodge number 53, Herbie Drescher. 21st from Ohsweken, Ontario, the GSR Ohsweken Speedway Chantarelli Chevrolet number 0, Glenn Stiers. 20th from Oakville, Ontario, the O'Neill Electric Supply Visit Barbados Castrol Dodge number 84, Larry Jackson. 19th from Ganawagi, Quebec, the Recap Bully's Truck Stop Chevrolet number 92, Dexter Stacy. 18th from St. Leonard d'Aston, Quebec, the GM Paillet Chevrolet Canada number 96, Marc Antoine Cameron. 17th from Whitby, Ontario, the Curb Record CMS Group Incorporated Chevrolet number 98, Daryl Timmers. 16th from Halton Hills, Ontario, the legendary motor car K-Line Dodge number 6, Peter Clute. In 15th from Bracebridge, Ontario, the Sierra Excavating A&G The Road Cleaner Chevrolet number 31, Daniel Bois. 14th from Milton, Ontario, the Nitro 54 Variety Main Street Logistics Dodge number 99, Matthew Scannell. 13th from Stayner, Ontario, the Leland Industries GMS RGC Chevrolet number 9, Brandon Watson. 12th from St. Thomas, Ontario, the Castrol Edge Spark Power CIM Metals Dodge number 17, DJ Kennington. 11th from Toronto, Ontario, the AER Manufacturing GM Paillet Chevrolet number 87, Sam Fellows. Now, race fans, your top 10. Starting 10th from St. Donat de Montcalm, Quebec, the Pro Lawn Controls Russo Metals Ford number 1, J.P. Bergeron. 9th from Milverton, Ontario, the APC Pennzoil Dayco Chevrolet number 22, Kyle Steckley. 8th from Terrebonne, Quebec, the Assa Abloy Fast Eddie Chevrolet number 3, Alex Gannett. 7th from Grimsby, Ontario, the FBM Delta Bingo GSR Leading Edge Chevrolet number 20, Drayton Lapsevich. 6th, from Oka, Quebec, the Evirum Home Hardware Ford number 24, Thomas Neva. Now your top 5, starting 5th from Halton Hills, Ontario, the Bothwell Accurate Ace Hill Dodge number 59, Gary Clute. 4th, from St. Eustache, Quebec, the Napa Auto Parts Valvoline Dodge number 74, Kevin Lacroix. 3rd, from Trois-Rivières, Quebec, the WeatherTech Omnifab Dodge number 47, L.P. Dumoulin. And now your front row, starting 2nd, from Roxton Pond, Quebec, the GM Paillet Chevrolet Canada number 27, Andrew Ranger. And your pole sitter, from Lachine, Quebec, the St. Hubert NTN Quick Genetec Chevrolet number 18, Alex Tagliani. Now, race fans, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats. This is my pleasure to welcome Tom Kipp, Motor Racing Outreach Chaplain, to give today's invocation.
Jen, please pray with me. Our Heavenly Father, we pause at this time to acknowledge your presence and to ask your blessing. First, oh God, we think of these courageous drivers. We ask you to protect each and every one of them, give them strength and a clear head from start to finish. Lord, we ask you to bless each track worker, those working behind the scenes, and these great many fans today. Give us all a safe and memorable day. And now as we turn our attention to this beautiful Canadian national anthem, we think of our veterans, we think of all those serving both home and abroad. We ask your protection, we ask your peace, and we ask for a profound sense of your presence. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
And please remain standing as we welcome Ken De Los Santos to sing the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, let's welcome once again from Freshstone Brands, Jennifer Booth, Haley Batenberg, and Jill Jennings for the most famous words in motorsport.
Drivers, start your engines!
And with that, the engines come alive here on the front straightaway for the NASCAR Pinty Series ahead of the Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto. 35 laps await these competitors. 26 strong here on the front chute as they qualified earlier on today. It was a combined qualifying and practice session. And one driver we will be watching is the number 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron. Well, it's just one of the many stories we'll be watching. As a matter of fact, the GM Paye Chevrolet backed entry. Of course, Cameron, your defending series champion, but he had issues, a breakage in the rear suspension in that practice session. He missed qualifying, will start 18th as a result here today. So 35 laps, no pit stops. And he'll have a lot of work to do to make his way to the front, but definitely a driver will be watching. He can do it. I talked to him down in the paddock a little while ago. He says it's not the position he wants to be in, but it's the hand he's been dealt at this point. And we'll see if he can make his way up through. It's all about preserving your car, preserving your tires, preserving your brakes. These cars, if you watched during practice, during qualifying earlier on today, the drivers will hang the car out. It'll slide sideways on these big, long, sweeping, fast corners. And then, of course, hard under braking, the car dances back and forth. The bumps don't help. All of that eats into that general tire and costs you a little bit of traction in the long run. So that is just one of the sub-stories that these drivers will be paying attention to. Taking care of your brakes, taking care of your tires, keeping the fenders on if you feel you may need them, but sometimes the drivers need them to make the pass, and that's what makes this NASCAR Pinty Series so very, very exciting. And while Alex Tagliani blitzed the field with a pole lap that seemingly came out of nowhere, he knows that he'll have a number of tough customers knocking at his back door in the early going of this race. He likely won't be able to run away and hide. That's just not the way the series works. It's so competitive, especially at the front of the pack. Adam Ross making the sprint from trackside to join us back here in the booth, and we welcome him back. You managed to catch your breath at this point?
It's a loose definition of the term sprint. Technically, I started at one point. I made it to this point without ever slowing from my original speed, but it wasn't very impressive. But here I am.
Hey, fantastic. We're happy to have you.
Speaking of sprinting, that's what this race is. It is the one race, the first race of the year, and really, I guess, the only one anymore.
Yeah,
it is
that's true.
Pure sprint from start to finish, up on the wheel, get going from the drop of the green. There is no pit strategy that can help you. There is no pit adjustment that can help you. It is just man versus man, machine versus machine, and who can get on it the fastest. We have seen some unbelievable passes here.
And there will be some stories that we'll be following, including that driver there, rookie Thomas Neveu, who really turned some heads during qualifying, 6th quickest, and that was at a time when many of the other drivers had parked it along pit lane. They were done. He wanted a couple more laps, and he managed to click off a pretty quick one. But it's a variable at the front of the field. Because he's a rookie, a relative unknown in the NASCAR Pinty Series, we know he's pretty good on the road and street circuits. He's done a couple ovals, but this is his first opportunity to really flex his muscle behind the wheel of that Dave Jacobs Racing number 24.
And for those of us who don't know as much about his background, he came in with word on the street, hey, this kid's pretty good. You know, he's all right. It's not a technical, it's not statistical, it's just keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
He's backed it up. He's done a great job getting in the top 10. He has also elevated the performance of his teammate, J.P. Bergeron, in the number 1 with his first top 10 qualifying effort here on the streets of Toronto.
Well, both those drivers out of the Dave Jacobs Racing stable getting some coaching help from Alex Labay. You may have heard of him, currently running in the NASCAR Xfinity Series with great success on road and street circuits in the U.S. So, of course, Alex Labay tightly tied to the Dave Jacobs Racing. Matter of fact, he ran in Newfoundland in the 24 car because Thomas Neveu had a previous engagement running the Porsche Cup North America in the U.S. So Alex Labay sat in. He ran second in that car, so brought home a lot of great feedback for that team. Now you see the drivers weaving back and forth, getting some heat in those general tires.
You know what else I see, Dave? I see a big crowd.
Yeah.
I see a crowd all the way around this facility. Thank you so much, fans, for being out here today for a phenomenal day. Give yourselves a big round of applause. This is exciting. This event, since it was born in the 1980s, was a huge event for the city of Toronto. And I got to say, the last couple of years, it's starting to feel that way again. So hats off to Green Savory and to all you fans for coming out, and to Honda for their support.
100% true. Everything is accurate what you say. And what the NASCAR Pinty Series drivers love about this, yes, they've been shifted to Friday, but because it is Honda Free Friday, they get the benefit of a packed house. A lot of fans, and sure, it's at the end of the day, but all those fans stay. They want to see this final event of the afternoon.
The field bunches up. Alex Tagliani will set the pace. They're going to double up as they head through the final couple of turns and go down towards the start-finish line. The Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto is 35 laps of action-packed excitement. They are about to get underway. Watch this accordion squeeze in row after row after row, all waiting for Alex Tagliani to stomp on the loud pedal. We are underway in Toronto.
Oh, cars nearly got together coming off of the final turn, and now into turn number 1. It will be Tagliani will lead them through that first section.
Kevin Lacroix lifted. That is monumental. He had his nose in a place where he really could have pushed the issue with Andrew Ranger. He backed out of it. Trevor Monahan looped it around. No harm, no foul. He'll be able to get going once again.
Down into turn number 3. This is one of the best passing areas on this track, and side by side still between Dumoulin and Kevin Lacroix. They come in neck in the point standings in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Everybody chasing the 20th Trayton Lapsevich. We talked about his dominance so far this year. And look, there's some damage to the back of the 9 of Brandon Watson. So somebody obviously got on the back of him off that race start. But Trayton Lapsevich has been so good this year. Winner of 3 of the first 4 races.
That almost makes me wonder. The amount of damage on the back of that 9 machine makes me wonder if someone's having braking problems, because they clearly did not slow down when Watson did. It looks like it'll be fine. It looks like cosmetic damage, but out in front, Alex Tagliani goes a little bit wide. Andrew Ranger hot on his heels.
Boy, Ranger in that GM Paille Chevrolet number 27. He needs a run today. Not just, a decent run. He needs a breakout run. This year has been horrible as far as bad luck for that team goes. They've had mysterious problems, breakages, just frustrations, and they need to break out of that shell. Talking to the team earlier on today, and they said, we've had enough bad luck for 2 years, let alone 1 year.
Andrew Ranger had a big smile on his face today when he got to the racetrack, and I don't know how he mustered it, because it has been a miserable year, but this has to be invigorating for the multi-time series champion, as he is all over the race leader Alex Tagliani, but in his rearview mirror, he can see Kevin Lacroix is closing in. If he is faster than Alex Tagliani, he is going to want to make a move quickly. He does not want to have to mirror drive.
You don't want to count out the number 59, the Ace Hill Beverages Dodge of Gary Kloot. He's sort of hanging in the background, and that is typically what Gary Kloot does in the early laps of a race. He'll stay there. He'll stay in contention. A little flash of smoke. That's a right front tire lockup from the NTN Bearings number 18 as Alex Tagliani continues trying to hold off the 27 of Andrew Ranger. But Gary Kloot is there. He's in the mix. And keep an eye on that drive. What
Andrew Ranger is doing there, he is making sure Alex Tagliani gets distracted. He is weaving from one side of the track to the other, and that shows up in Alex Tagliani's mirror. No matter how focused you are, that will affect the driver.
But look at the line that Tagliani takes down Lakeshore into turn number 3. Not a blocking line, but he knows he needs to run a little bit of defense in the early going. He's going to try and string together a couple good laps, get a little bit of a cushion on the 27. Right now, unable to do so as a 96. So Marc-Antoine Cameron starts to move up again. That fender now flapping in the wind from the Leland number 9 of Brandon Watson.
Yeah, Cameron started deep in the field, broke the 3rd link earlier in practice, did not get to qualify. So coming from the 18th starting spot and without the benefit of pit stops, he's got to get going as quickly as he can. But I'll tell you, Dave, this is as stacked a field as we have ever brought here. There's a lot of talent and a lot of good equipment, so he's going to have his work cut out for him trying to carve his way to the front of the field.
Yeah, he's got a part-timer in front of him in the Nitro 54, number 99. That's Matthew Scannell, but Scannell is no slouch. He's often at the front of the road and street circuits here in the NASCAR Pinty Series, as Tagliani has to play defense once again, this time in turn number 1. A little flex from the 27 of Andrew Ranger as he starts to, you mentioned it, get in his head just a little bit, start to fill even that side mirror.
This is more than that. He got a much better run. Tagliani had to defend into turn 1, so Ranger still has more speed from coming off of turn 1. So he's not only affecting Tagliani's mind, he is forcing Tagliani to make decisions that are not good for the long-term health of the tires on that 18 car.
Yeah, but that being said, I mean, even as hard as these two drivers are going at it, Tagliani defending, Andrew Ranger attacking, they've still managed to open up nearly a 2-second gap on the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, who's been hanging back along with LP Dumoulin, Gary Kloot, your top 5, Trayton Lapsevich currently in 6. Remember, your point leader coming into this one is the 20 of Lapsevich.
Did you see the fuel coming out the overflow of Tagliani in that corner? I would have thought it would have.
Yeah, 3 laps in, it should be burned off by now.
You should be beyond that, but that'll be challenging for Andrew Ranger as finally Cameron finds a way to get around Matthew Scannell, but that pass took a lap and a half.
You can see Cameron has some rear end damage as well after that accordion on the initial start. I think that's where a lot of these cars picked up that rear end damage. The bumpers on these cars are not necessarily overly thick. They tend to crunch in a little bit.
It's not an accident that you see the damage on the back end, but not the front end.
Yeah.
The front ends are much sturdier than the back ends. What an impressive sight as these NASCAR stock cars wind them up down Lakeshore Boulevard, headed towards turn number 3. In the early years of our races, there'd be 1 or 2 cars just drive away and leave the field, and then they would be scattered around the racetrack. In recent years, there's so many drivers and the cars are so well prepared. It's pack racing almost all the time.
Yeah, we can tell you that one driver is having some issues in the early going. That's the 31 of Daniel Bois. He has made some pit stops, and word from the pit lane, he is losing oil pressure. So that's going to be heartbreaking for the driver from Muskoka, from Bracebridge. Again, this is a pretty close race for him. It's one that he wanted to shine in here in front of the big crowd at the Honda Indy Toronto. And unfortunately, it looks like this is not going to be his day.
No, unfortunately not. But the big storyline coming into today, Trayton Lapsevich in the 20 car. He has won 3 of the 4 races so far this year. The 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron has won the other race. So all of the top 5 cars right now are looking for their first victory of 2023, and they are hungry. Andrew Ranger's last lap was a little bit slower than Alex Tagliani. He suffered brake fade earlier in practice and qualifying. The brakes started to go away on that 27 machine. He is still running very fast laps, but the fact that he's 2/10 slower than the race leader and 2/10 slower than Kevin Lacroix running behind him has to be concerning.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of cosmetic repair to the back end of that GM Paille Chevrolet number 27 after the team said he just kissed the wall a little bit. Didn't get into it, just kissed it. But that's Ranger. That's Andrew Ranger here on this street circuit. He will get everything out of that car, including saving it when the brakes start to get a little squishy.
Things getting snug back there for Sam Fellows as Marc-Antoine Cameron is closed in on that race car. Right behind Cameron rides the 22 of Kyle Steckley as they battle for the 11th spot.
Cameron is coming for sure. Steckley is going to follow up on that GM Paille number 96, but Fellows with a little wiggle on the exit of turn number 11 down this front straightaway. They'll click off another lap. That is lap number 6 of 35. And the AER number 87 holds off the hard-charging 96 into turn number 1.
Sam Fellows doing a great job. This is a newly formed race team. It's only their 2nd race together. They just picked up this race car a few days ago, threw a wrap on it, and brought it out to Toronto to compete. So giving it a good maiden voyage. You see the nose slammed right down to the racetrack, but Marc-Antoine Cameron, he's got places to go.
Yeah, and that's smart, too. You see Cameron actually put his hand out the window because it was a little bit ambitious in the beginning, and then Fellows was like, you're going to force the issue if I try to close the door, so you might as well, at this stage in the race, let him go, have the spot, and get back in line, because even that one pass, you see how quickly the 22 caught up, and now issues for the 97 of Dexter Stacy, or 92, excuse me, of Dexter Stacy.
And right now there's a blue flag waving, but we will soon see a yellow flag. That is an overheating race car. That's what you're looking at. So that's the dummy line. So if your gauge stops working, there's no hiding water spewing up your windshield, and that alerts the driver that he's got a serious overheating problem. And once he's stopped on the racetrack with the engine shut down, it does not get, it gets hotter before it gets cooler, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's just no water pump to start cycle that water through. This is going to be a full course caution. Yellow flag being shown from the flag stand. Again, if you're brand new to NASCAR, the blue flags in the individual corners indicate to the drivers that there is an issue on track. It's almost like a local caution, but it's just indicating to the drivers that there is an issue. You can keep racing. But once the caution is shown from the flag stand, that is a full course caution, and that's what we're under right now. We can tell you that Dexter Stacy was in 15th position when the recap recovery drink number 92 had some issues, and it's likely issues under the hood. He had some problems in practice earlier on today after catching the wall, what appeared to be down into turn number 3. Affecting the left front corner. The crew managed to get that all fixed up. He got back in the race, was making some great gains, and now trouble.
See another car just going by there. I'm not even sure who that was with a little bit of body damage. Might have been Herbie Drescher in the 53 machine.
Oh, on the initial start, the 53 got very crossways as he came out of turn number 11 expecting business to be picked up already. So he had his foot right into it, and then all of a sudden the train was stopped and he had to jump on the brakes. So managed to avoid it. But yeah, you can see a little bit of body damage hanging from the right side of the number 53. I'm not sure if it's significant enough that NASCAR is going to call him in. Well, I don't think it is.
I like the Herbie the Love Bug look. He's got the name, he's got the number. That's well played.
Oh yeah, it's barely, it's just a skirt.
It's merely a flesh wound.
Yeah, that's it.
8 laps have been complete of the 35 lap distance. Alex Tagliani took the lead from the drop of the green flag. Andrew Ranger was keeping the pressure on. These are two drivers who have not won yet this season. The top 4 drivers, nobody in the top 4 has yet to win a race this year. Where did Gary Kloot go?
We're hearing drive shaft on the number 92. You're right, Gary Kloot did fall off the pace. He's out of the top 5 as far as our timing and scoring goes. For the 92 of Dexter Stacy, reportedly a drive shaft issue, so not necessarily an engine, but it is one that will be.
And that'll get your attention. If you spit a drive shaft out of one of these cars, they rattle around inside that race car, and that is a come to Jesus moment.
Especially at that point in the racetrack when you're heading down Lakeshore towards turn number 3. That's the fastest section of this racetrack, and if you have a drive shaft rattling around in there.
Let's just say the only skid marks aren't on the racetrack. There are multiple.
We're trying to get word from the pits on the 59 of Gary Kloot.
The scoring has the 59 of Kloot down a lap, which would suggest he came into the pits with some sort of a problem that couldn't be fixed in a hurry. And I don't see him out there in the running order from the camera angles that we've seen. So unfortunate break for Gary Kloot, part-time competitor, but always a contender when he and crew chief John Fletcher bring that car out to the racetrack.
A couple other drivers currently being listed as 1 lap down. Larry Jackson, Darrell Timmers. Timmers making his very first start in the NASCAR Pinty Series. Driver coach and national karting champion here in Canada is the driver of the number 98. There you see him out on track right now. the tail of the field as the cleanup continues for the number 92 of Dexter Stacy.
So Drayton Lapsevich, the top running Ontario driver. DJ Kennington, the only other Ontario native in the top 10 right now.
No, Sam Fellows.
Sorry, Sam Fellows is 10. So three in the top 10 as Brandon Watson shows the signs of significant contact from behind. You mentioned it earlier, Dave. These bodies are fiberglass. And you will never hear someone talk about an aero push or damaging the body. These cars were very much like Cup cars before Cup cars were. They're very durable. But watch what happens here. Ranger and Tagliani come around the final turn, and then they slow down. So the field is closing in, trying to anticipate a green flag.
It's the 31 that hit the back of the 9.
Oh.
And then, of course, the 31 of Daniel Bois went out with oil pressure issues. So I wonder if he affected the radiator oil cooler area, and that's what caused the issues there. But definitely was the 31 of Daniel Bois who thumped the back of the Leland number 9 of Brandon Watson as they follow the, you say it on the road, you're caught behind the Ontario provincial pace car. In this case, they are. The OPP are the pace car of the NASCAR Pinty series. And we can tell you that the 59 of Gary Clute on pit road up on jack stands. So that's the issue for the one-time top 5 driver here in the early going of the Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto for the NASCAR Pinty series.
Look at that crowd of people all around the facility. And David, excites me because we've been around this sport our whole lives. It's exciting to see a diverse crowd, diverse in every way, gender, race, age. They're all out because it's all a great day to be out here in the city of Toronto and come down here and enjoy some time, enjoy a big event.
And discipline too. What people would come for the IndyCar event, but now they're being exposed to a NASCAR event, and that's what's so great about something as large as this, is you may create fans of different disciplines because you're like, wow, I came as a NASCAR fan, but I saw the IndyCars practice or qualify, and I thought, wow, I got to come back here for the race on Sunday. It looks like fun. So the 92 gets pushed back. Jack is going underneath. Watch for the jack stands to head underneath as they'll try to.
So unless they take a drive shaft out of another car that's already out of the race, I don't see the amount of overheating this car did. Yeah. I doubt we'll see Dexter Stacy back on track.
Be able to fix the one that's in there, but after it rattles around a bunch and bangs off, all the U-joints get pretty damaged, and it's not likely it gets rectified fairly quickly.
His teammate Alex Gannett having a good run. He's out there in the 6th spot in the number 3, fresh off a street race down in Chicago where he competed in the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Yeah, finishing in the top 15 there. Actually had a really good run, and that was a shortened race because of the rain, the lightning in the area, really the biggest issue. And then the window to run the race closed down considerably, so they couldn't restart it the next day. So disappointing, yes, but he said, you know what, for my first race in an Xfinity car, qualified 19th, came home 15th in one piece, that's a good day for me.
That's a fantastic day for someone making their debut in a very competitive series. So we watch them strung out.
Watch Brandon Watson run so close to the wall. He's trying to drag that piece of fiberglass on the wall to knock it off and leave it on the track so it doesn't act as a sail down the straightaway when they go back to green.
Come on, Brandon, do it under green. He's doing 150 miles an hour. When is Mike Hennig going to get to drive the pace truck?
I don't think he will. You're not allowed to drive a pace car or a police car as a civilian. That's kind of against the law.
Is it still a police car when it's on a racetrack?
We should talk to the OPP's Kerry Schmidt. I think he is the honorary pace car driver here today.
So NASCAR official Mike Hennig in the passenger seat of the pace vehicle, which would still be quite a thrill, I'm sure. And the funny thing is, you would never know when Mike Hennig is thrilled. He's a very straight-faced individual, but just a class act. Been with the series for many, many years. He might have been with the series, same as me, from day one. We're long in the tooth, Dave.
We are indeed. So laps continue to tick down. They are under caution, but the caution laps do count
Lights are off on the pace vehicle. We are going to come back to green. So once they get through this next corner, the field will start to take shape, double file. All of our restarts in the NASCAR Pinty Series are double file restarts. Alex Tagliani with some gamesmanship there, accelerating and then slowing down, and that's what creates that accordion effect. But that's not why he does it. He does it to buzz the rear tires, get all the debris off them so he can have as clean a start as possible when he does get on the throttle.
Well, he jammed them up on the initial start. We'll see what he does on this one as Andrew Ranger pulls up alongside. Again, the field will bunch off of turn number 11. The green flag once again waves, and we're back underway here in the Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto.
Kevin Lacroix with a good launch. Same with LP Dumoulin. Andrew Ranger to the outside. Lets Alex Tagliani drift up across the nose of the 27. My goodness, it's like a work of art watching the choreography of these drivers sort themselves out. Because the sooner you get single file, if you can't make the pass, get single file, because that's the fastest way to go.
Issues for the 24 of Thomas Neveu, and now he gets rear-ended down the straightaway. That's the 22 of Kyle Steckley as damage to the right front corner. Thomas Neveu fell off the pace. I don't know if he cut a tire making contact with another car off that initial start, but he has slowed, and now he is pulled off the racetrack. So the Envirom number 24 Ford Mustang is stopped, and yet again, full course caution on the racetrack.
Well, that, in technical terms, Dave, is a bummer.
Yeah, technical and every other turn possible as well as the drivers come around. Now they're going to start seeing the caution flag. It looks like all tires are up on the 24, so whatever happened, that car just did not want to go. So, I mean, we can speculate at this point, but might it be transmission issues going up through the gears?
That's almost what I would imagine, but you know, it could be a blown motor, it could be a lot of things.
Everybody scattered except the 22. Sort of the seas had parted right before the 24 showed in front of him. There you can see big damage to the back end, but that happened after the fact as the 22 of Kyle Steckley got into the back of the Thomas Neveu.
Whatever was the issue, Thomas Neveu knew he was done.
Oh, yeah.
Because he looked for room to get out of the way off of turn number 3. If you had a flat tire, if your transmission was stuck in just one gear, you would drive back to pit road and get the crew to sort you out. So this makes me think blown engine, broke drive shaft, something terminal on the 24 machine.
Doesn't look like anything is leaking underneath that car, which is good news for the cleanup. It wouldn't take that long. We'll have to clean up some fiberglass down the back straightaway left over from the APC number 22 of Kyle Steckley. But you saw as the cars went around that pit lane is closed, so they're using a red flag with a yellow X on it. And there at the top of the screen is the 24 of Thomas Neveu, and he's pulled over a little bit, sort of in the middle of the straightaway.
He's still up to speed there, right? Like they're not flying by him.
And it just seemed to lose a lot of speed all at once, and Steckley got hard on the brake. He didn't really know where to go because he had Brandon Watson on one side of him, and then he had JF Dumoulin on the other side of him. So you can't go right, you can't go left, and you have to make that decision. Try to brake as hard as he can, unfortunately making heavy contact with the back of the 24.
Help has arrived for Thomas Neveu. He'll get the push back to pit road. I don't expect this will be a very lengthy yellow flag period.
I'm just checking to see where Kyle Steckley, 15th position, is where he crossed the line the last time they came through to complete a lap. And again, all wheels pointed in the right direction for the 24 of Thomas Neveu. And you're right, it's going to just be pushed back to the paddock area, or at least pit lane, and they'll have a look at it.
So we'll look again, got some great angles of this, and you're going to see Kyle Steckley coming right at you. No, it's a little before Kyle Steckley got to him. But as you said, Kyle had Brandon Watson to the left of him, so he couldn't dart to the left.
And that is really where you're starting to make steam coming down Lakeshore. You come out of turn number 2, there's that kink, and you're flying down the Lakeshore, and you sort of came out of turn number 2, and all of a sudden there's a car in front of you.
And we had to go yellow that quickly just for the amount of debris that spread around the racetrack down Lakeshore Boulevard.
Do we get to see another restart between the 27 of Andrew Ranger, and is Ranger pulling in front of Alex Tagliani? He was not the leader according to timing and scoring that we have.
There used to be a curious rule, and I can't imagine that Ranger was leading at the scoring. There used to be a bizarre rule in NASCAR that when there was a restart and the yellow came out before the end of that lap, they actually counted that lap where you accelerated to the green flag. And sometimes the second place car was ahead of the first place car.
Because they can go as soon as the green flag is shown.
Or as soon as the leader accelerates, the second place can accelerate. It is possible that that's what happened, but I was told that's not how they officiate anymore. I was told that rule was changed. It was very confusing to follow. But how else can we explain the 27 being ahead of the 18?
Maybe he's just pulling out in front to try and get some air to the front end of the.
It's like skating over. It's like skating over the logo. You don't pass the leader when you're not the leader.
Yeah, that's right. Unless you want to get your the back of your hand slapped fairly quickly. But we'll try and get more information as to why Andrew Ranger will be restarting, or at least at the front of the pack right now, as the 24 does find his pit stall, and it doesn't look like there's much urgency.
Well, they're in there working either on the gear shift knob or on the ignition.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things I can think of that are in that area inside the race car.
And we should say that some of the veteran drivers, like a DJ Kennington, for example, he's very much hands-on, works on his race car, gets dirty. He's down there underneath it at a lot of the races, and likely was underneath his car at one point today. But there's a type of driver that if an ignition box goes bad, he knows to be able to switch it from one to the next. He can sort of self-diagnose and make that happen. With Thomas Neveu, he's very, very new to this type of race car and this sort of lower technology race car. You're racing in Porsche GT3 Cup. You've raced in open wheel series. And you can see the 24 is refired and getting going. So maybe it was as simple as just switching over to a different ignition box inside that car. But he has lost several laps as a result of what happened.
And that's a shame for a driver who is running in the top 10, giving that car a good drive. It's also a shame for Kyle Steckley, who redecorated the front end of his APC Pennzoil number 22, but he's still out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, Steckley did not make a pit stop to get that fiberglass repaired. Everything that was going to fall off already did. But that said, the first time at speed down the straightaway, that right fender is going to catch some wind and will likely come off fairly shortly. So hopefully, if it does, it falls in an area that will not require a significant cleanup. There you can see some tape to the back end of the number 24, but it's moving now. And we should be able to get back underway here fairly shortly.
I would think so. I have a feeling that the lights are going to go out on that pace vehicle when they come around turn 5. Beautiful field of cars assembled here today. We have youth, we have veteran experience, we have everything in between. We have drivers who are on the opening trajectory of their racing careers, like Trayton Lapsevich, like Sam Fellows, like Alex Gannett. We have drivers that are in the twilight of their careers, Alex Tagliani, DJ Kennington. And then you've got just those hardened professionals, LP Dumoulin, right? Andrew Ranger. And we should give a big shout out to the folks at WeatherTech. The Rev and Run 5K takes place. I signed up for it, but I'd only participate if it rained because the sun's out. I've got to get to Ohsweken Speedway tonight. Yes. Lights are out on the pace vehicle.
I decided that I'm not a very good runner, and unfortunately I would not be able to attend.
Hi, Pot. This is Kettle. Nice to meet you.
I only run if somebody's chasing me.
No, I enjoyed it. I did the Round the Bay 5K, injured my calf, so I can barely move now. But once I'm healed, I'm going to do that again.
Fantastic. Good for you. As the pace car pulls in, so you're right, we are headed back for a restart. Andrew Ranger will take the inside lane going into turn number 1. He'll have Alex Tagliani up on the outside. And keep an eye on that second row. That's where we find Kevin Lacroix and LP Dumoulin. And again, now 15 laps of 35 in the books. The first lap, the first start, and the initial restart after that, everybody was pretty polite going into turn number 1. As we go back to green, we'll see if the same thing holds true. Look at Lacroix to the inside.
Andrew Ranger so confident in his braking ability, he left that lane open for Lacroix. He knew he could drive it down into the corner just as far as the 74. He'll lead the way coming off of turn number 2, heading down Lakeshore Boulevard. Tagliani settles into second. Lacroix back in third, where he restarted with LP Dumoulin fourth.
Solid move by Alex Tagliani up on the outside. Now he takes to the inside in the braking zone, trying to move underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Cannot make it stick. Nearly caught the wall to the 18 of Tagliani. Now back to the inside. He's going for the lead. Top spot to Alex Tagliani. A surprise to the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
We've seen him make that move here before. You know his nose had to be out of joint because he would think he never lost the lead. Why is he restarting second? But these drivers go to all the effort to scrub their tires clean. Tagliani was so far out of the racing groove on Lakeshore Boulevard, you could see the dust flying off of those General tires. Trayton Lapsevich being overtaken by Marc-Antoine Cameron. He loses a couple spots.
2 spots because Alex Gannett got around him as well. That put him way to the outside in the dirt on the exit of turn number 8. Marc-Antoine Cameron capitalized, and now Cameron is just outside the top 5. And now working over the Ass Abloy number 3 of Alex Gannett. He'll have him in turn number 1.
How about this drive by Marc-Antoine Cameron? He is on his way into the top 5. They don't get any easier to pass the farther forward you move. Waving blue flag, that might be a little bit of debris, Dave, that you talked about. Once these cars got up to speed, some of the body work might start to flap off of them. But I don't think there's anything too serious going on up ahead as Trayton Lapsevich is under attack by the 1 of JP Bergeron.
Keep an eye on the Delta Bingo and Gaming FBM number 20 of Trayton Lapsevich. He is your points leader, and he is dropping back. He's now, as you mentioned, in the clutches of the 1 car of JP Bergeron as the 20 got very crossways under acceleration, so it might be a handling issue.
You saw that too, and it was in a right-hand corner where the car, that left rear, did it look soft?
The right rear looks like it's had some rub damage to it. You can't see the general writing. Yeah, something's going on, and possibly a tire down for the GSR number 20.
In right-hand corners, Trayton Lapsevich is not doing very well in the 20. And the bad news, Dave, they're all right-hand corners with the exception of just a couple turns here in Toronto.
But this is the level of Trayton Lapsevich, even with a car that's just not right. He had a test, actually, in a Glenn's Tires Racing sprint car not too long ago, so he's quite happy hanging out the back end of this race car, and he's able to keep pace and actually close the gap a little bit on the car in front of him.
He's a gifted race car driver. He comes from a gifted racing family, and just a great young man, very intelligent as well. Always fun to be around Trayton Lapsevich and the whole Lapsevich clan. But up at the front, we have a war brewing. Tagliani, Ranger, Lacroix, the only 3 drivers who have ever won on the streets of Toronto in the NASCAR Pinty Series run first, second, and third.
Funny how the cream always rises to the top when you start to talk about the drivers in the NASCAR Pinty Series and the success that they've had here. But again, the 47 of LP Dumoulin, as it's a flat tire now on the 0 of Glenn's Tires, a left rear tire down, and that is very much down. He's driving on the rim.
Depending where he is on the racetrack, so he's just in turn number 3. He's got a little ways to go, but fortunately it's a slow portion of the racetrack. But if that carcass comes off, that would likely draw a full course yellow as Trayton Lapsevich looking for racing room to the inside of Alex Gannett. He got in his mirror, Dave. Gannett missed turn 1.
He did, and the issues that we had with Trayton Lapsevich, we were talking about a possible tire down or a soft tire. I think he just overheated those General tires, and that's why the back end was getting a little happy, because he is very much back up to pace now as he starts to attack on the number 3 of Alex Gannett. Gannett's not going to lay over. Wow. He's going to fight that into turn number 3, slamming the door across the nose of the 20.
So the nice thing about turn 3 here is you can overdrive it a little bit, because if you go up the racetrack, turn 4 is so awkward and slow, you can make up speed. You don't have to worry. There's some corners where you have to be quick in the transition because someone will dive to the inside. You can't do that in turn 4. Although Alex Tagliani would try.
Tagliani continues to lead, though, in the 18 over Andrew Ranger, Kevin Lacroix, LP Dumoulin, and now Marc-Antoine Cameron. Remember, he started back in 18th position, now up inside the top 5 in the 96. But how much of that car did he use up trying to get there? That's the big question. How much does he have left for these last 15 laps?
It's a great question, Dave. Is Lapsevich looking to the inside going into turn 1 on Alex Gannett? They both get through the corner fairly well. Now it's going to be who got back onto the throttle better. Is Trevor Monahan out of shape in turn 8, I believe.
Yeah, that's turn 8. It's a rough patch getting into turn number 8. There's very much a washboard entry under braking, and that's caught a couple of drivers out. And this time, the GSR number 4 of Trevor Monahan is one of them. The good news, though, didn't appear to hit the tire wall and didn't appear to do any damage, any significant damage to that car. So he'll refire. All he loses is a lot of track position.
And that's a good-looking race car. Sharp design, but no damage whatsoever. So Trevor's been keeping the fenders on it. Glenn Stiers is back on the racetrack in that number 0 as we have a look at Trevor Monahan down into turn 8.
Oh, he just got in a little heavy, locked it up.
As soon as you lock up the front tires, as soon as the front tires stop turning, and this might not make sense, but the car will not turn. You're basically on skis at that point. The tire has to be rotating in order for it to grip the pavement and turn. Remember that in the winter, you're ever sliding towards a snowbank and you got your foot all the way on the brake? You don't want to let off the brake just before you get to the snowbank. You might steer around it.
Why the advent of ABS, right? Anti-lock braking systems. The car companies figuring that out, figuring computers could do that for you. As we take a look at the gap at the front, it's now gotten a little bit bigger. 0.8 of a second, so it's still under a second. It looks very tight on the racetrack, but Alex Tagliani is starting to open a little bit more of a cushion on the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
At this point, if you're in the top 5 of the race, Dave, you're fairly comfortable. You can still see the race leader. If he gets out to much more than a second past Andrew Ranger, then we're going to see LP Dumoulin, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Kevin Lacroix. We're going to see if they have any more, because they're going to have to start using it.
Big wiggle out of the 27 of Andrew Ranger off turn 7 into 8. He gathered it back up, but that's going to cost him some seconds as he continues to try and chase down your race leader. There is Brandon Watson, and the 13 of JF Dumoulin caught the wall on the exit of turn number 2.
Yeah, that was a little bizarre for JF Dumoulin there as we look at Alex Tagliani stringing down the home straightaway across the start-finish line to complete lap 21.
Now, the top 5 have about a 5-second gap now on 6th place Trayton Lapsevich, who's still in that fairly tight battle with the 3 of Alex Gannett, the 1 of JP Bergeron, and the 17 of DJ Kennington. There is a little bit of debris on turn number 2 as you head down the back straightaway, and you can see both Klutes now out of the race as Peter Kloot has joined Gary down pit lane.
Our TSN reporter, Kendra Adams, working her way down to the scene to get an update on what's going on. As we look at Marc-Antoine Cameron, the GM Paillet 96, putting the pressure on the WeatherTech 47 of LP Dumoulin. Dumoulin taking that corner a little bit wide, but it creates a nice arc and good exit speed.
Just looking down the running order, and I believe the 87 of Sam Fellows has moved around the 99 of Matthew Scannell. So Sam Fellows in the AER number 87 up inside the top 10, which would be a best run for that brand new race team.
Yeah, Sam doing a great job keeping his nose clean out there. As the top 5 still, they're all in the same shot. That's pretty close, 22 laps into a road course race. Andrew Ranger little more than a second behind Tagliani, but their lap times are starting to level off a little bit. Kevin Lacroix slightly quicker than the top two that time.
Yeah, but not by much. We're talking hundredths of a second when we talk about slightly quicker and a little bit quicker, but now they're working into some of the slower traffic, and this is going to be the variable that some of these drivers will be looking for as an opportunity to get by. And it's LP Dumoulin who really got caught out by the number 4 of Trevor Monahan, because he caught him right when he needed to turn in turn number 3. It cost him a significant margin, and now your race leader has caught the 0 of Glenn Stiers.
And he's getting slowed up just a little bit as Tagliani looking for, whoa, contact.
Whoa, and Lacroix almost goes around. He touched the wall. He might lose a spot. He will, as the 47 of LP Dumoulin. No, he makes contact. Lacroix is going to hang on to third.
The spotter can only see so much around this racetrack. You've got to believe Glenn Stiers didn't know Alex Tagliani was there making that move. But Tagliani now has Andrew Ranger right up behind him, and who knows? Did he flat spot his tires? Did he lock them up? Did he do any damage to that 18? There had to be contact based on how sideways we saw the 0 of Stiers.
Battle for 4th position, and it looks like that will go to the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. So again, capitalizing on the issue that faced the 47 as we take another look at what happened. And yeah, the 0 got all kinds of out of shape, and so did the 74, as all of a sudden there was a car crossways right in front of the Napa Auto Parts 74.
That will appear on highlight reels for years to come.
What a save, though, from Kevin Lacroix. He did touch the wall, but not by much, and then he managed to hang on to 3rd position.
Grit and determination, and I think it might have motivated him, because Kevin Lacroix is now closing in on our race leaders. He just needed to get a little fire lit under him.
Kevin Lacroix always had that fire lit under him, and this year he's shown a lot of maturity, a lot more patience. But now, with there'll be 10 laps to go as we cross the stripe this time by. It is go time. Time to step up to the plate.
Yeah, I'm not sold on this patient and mature Kevin Lacroix. But I think the old Kevin Lacroix will come out when he needs him to, but the top 3 running very close together. So 11 laps to go. And Andrew Ranger all sorts of sideways on the exit of turn number 1, but so is everybody else. DJ Kennington looks to the inside of JP Bergeron. Nothing doing there. Bergeron shuts the door in turn 1 as they battle for the 8th spot.
You see just in behind is the 99 of Matthew Scannell. The Nitro 94 Dodge is tucked in behind the 17 Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington. So if Bergeron makes a small mistake, it might cost him not 1 but 2 positions as they battle into turn number 3. Again, Kennington not quite there to make a move in the Castrol Edge Dodge.
We look at a replay.
Sam Fellows and Glenn Stiers got together.
Yeah, Stiers having a tough time here as the lead lap cars come around the 0 machine. So he's been a battering, sort of a punching bag. That's the term I'm looking for, as the leaders have come on by.
Gannett currently running in 3rd spot, chasing your points leader, Trayton Lapsevich, who's holding down 6th at this point. Lapsevich is a little bit further back than he would like to see from the 47 of LP Dumoulin, and now Sam Fellows in the AER 87 will head down pit lane. So he may have cut a tire, had something bend in the car after making contact with the 0 Glenn Stiers.
With concrete walls on both sides of the racetrack, you don't want to mess around with the damaged race car. You're not in the points, so Sam Fellows might not want to do more damage than there already is, but if something does go wrong, he could really hurt that 87 machine. He'll take it down pit road to his crew chief, Mike Knott. As Matthew Scannell looks to the inside of DJ Kennington down into turn number 3. He corrects under braking as that car got wiggly. He'll make the pass.
Deep enough that he could stick it in underneath the 17 of DJ Kennington. And you know when you race a driver like DJ Kennington, he's not going to do anything brash or, hurry the situation, as we now have a battle for 2nd spot. So whatever did get lit up underneath the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. It is burning fully now as Kevin Lacroix is really turning up the heat on the 27 of Andrew Ranger.
And right behind Lacroix, Marc-Antoine Cameron closing in as well. I believe we're going to see the 74 try to make a move as Sam Fellows back out onto the racetrack as Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix work off at turn number 1.
Yeah, so Kevin Lacroix right now is the fastest car on the racetrack amongst the leaders. He's quicker than Alex Tagliani, quicker than Andrew Ranger. And he does actually the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron turned a little bit quicker lap that time, but he had a clear track, and now we have a change of position.
Wow! Thread the needle. That is what you call that move that Kevin Lacroix just executed between Andrew Ranger and Sam Fellows, and left Ranger picking up leftovers there, trying to find a way to get around the 87 of Sam Fellows. Fellows will now get off the racing groove and let those cars pass. I believe Ranger's going to lose 2 more spots here in the next lap. Cameron to the inside of the 27 of Ranger. And now LP Dumoulin right up on the tail tank of that 27 machine.
It'll be interesting to see as the laps continue to tick off. Is that momentum that the 74 has built up, is it enough to catch the 18? Catching is one thing, passing is another, but Kevin Lacroix has him in his sights. He can taste the back bumper of that NTN Bearings number 18 of Alex Tagliani as the number 47 of LP Dumoulin completes the pass on Andrew Ranger. So Marc Dumoulin up to 4th spot through turn number 1.
Ranger back to the 5th position. Still the top 5 all in the same screen as we've got JF LeBerge in the 91 machine around in turn number 8.
And LeBerge was driving in the 22nd position when that incident happened, manages to get it back around and get going, so we do avoid a full course caution. You never know when the driver ends up sinking it into a tire wall what is going to happen. We can see the 0 of Glenn Steyer's off the pace once again.
Yeah, right up against the retaining wall. You remember Glenn Steyer's last year didn't make very many laps at all, had mechanical failure in practice and the race as we watched JF LeBerge. A wheel hop situation and the car spins around backwards. Thankfully, nobody collected in that one.
I'd hate to be that driver, sitting there in the driver's seat, and you're watching the rest of the field come directly at you.
I don't think that'd be a very comfortable feeling, Dave.
I think you might be right. Tagliani, second quickest to Kevin Lacroix. Actually, Marc-Antoine Cameron, get this one, 1:16.8, so he is about a half a second quicker than Kevin Lacroix, who is currently in 2nd position. But the thing is, he's nearly 3 seconds back of your race leader. The 96 is the fastest car on the racetrack right now, but does he have the time? There's 7 laps to go.
Marc-Antoine Cameron in the 96 does not have to catch Alex Tagliani. He needs Kevin Lacroix to catch Alex Tagliani. Once they start racing, that whole top 4, top 5 are going to accordion in together, because once they start battling side by side, they'll be much slower than they were, all running their own lines as JF Dumoulin makes a pass on Brandon Watson in turn 3.
That is a pass for 12th position as Dumoulin puts the Kamloops Chevy just ahead of the Leland Chevy. The 22 of Kyle Steckley is in that mix as well. As a matter of fact, Kyle Steckley still marked in 14th position. So that's what you talked about. You talked about aero push. You don't have it in the NASCAR Pinty Series. There's a gaping hole on the front of the 22, and he's still up to speed, still inside the top 15.
If anything, the right front tire and the right front brakes love that air blowing on them. It's a cooling effect. So it's actually a performance gain in that regard.
Up at the front of the field, still 1.4 seconds between Alex Tagliani and Kevin Lacroix. Marc-Antoine Cameron now 2.6 seconds back. Cameron still a little bit quicker, just a couple tenths now quicker than the 74 of Kevin Lacroix at the front of the field. But you can see they're in clean air, so all of these drivers can pick their lanes where their car works the best.
Tagliani is the slowest of the top 4 cars right now. He's out in front. He built himself a great margin of a 1.5 seconds, and now he's just got to maintain decent speed. He doesn't have to be the fastest. He just has to be within a tenth or two of what Kevin Lacroix is able to do in that beautiful blue and white number 74.
That's how close they are as they work their way. That's a tight section of the racetrack through turn 9, 10, and 11. You can see just how snug it is between those concrete walls. You have to be so perfect, and then down into turn number 1, and that sets the speed for turn 3 as Kyle Steckley tries to make a move on the number 9 of Brandon Watson in turn 8.
Kevin Lacroix 0.2 seconds faster that lap. Marc-Antoine Cameron 0.4 seconds faster that lap than Alex Tagliani. At what point, if you're Alex Tagliani, I mean, he's a professional, he's been doing it a long time, but you have to notice in your rearview mirror, the cars are getting bigger. They're coming closer, Dave.
But as I mentioned earlier, catching is one thing, passing is a completely different story, and Alex Tagliani has done this for a long time. He knows how to make that car super wide, make him just very difficult to pass. It's not like he's blocking. He makes the move to defend his position, but you can see more body panels now hanging off the Leyland GMS number 9 of Brandon Watson. He's having a rough day as far as bodywork goes.
It is a rolling yard sale through turn 3 and 4 right now. But look at this. Visibly, Alex Tagliani locks up the right front brake. I believe he's being affected by Kevin Lacroix in the rearview mirror. Let's see what timing and scoring says. JF LeBerge in the 91. Lots of smoke coming out that machine as the leaders approach quickly heading into turn 1.
Now, hopefully he's not laying down any fluid on the racetrack just ahead of the leaders. He's going to hold it to the outside in turn number 2 as the leaders able to get through cleanly. But looking at the gap, it's under a second now between Alex Tagliani and Kevin Lacroix with 4 laps to go.
Cameron is even closer to Lacroix than Lacroix is to Tagliani. We're going to start measuring it in car lengths. And Dave, I beg to differ. For any other position on any other lap, catching is one thing, passing is another. For these drivers on the last lap of a road course in NASCAR stock car racing, anything goes.
It's true. Have at it, boys, is the slogan used in NASCAR circles. But Alex Tagliani was very tidy through that section, and he was able to open up a gap. You were talking about measuring car lengths. It went from about 5 car lengths to maybe 10 between the 18 and the 74. So that section of the track through turn 5 and 6 is not necessarily where Kevin Lacroix has been finding his speed.
No, it really isn't. It's from about right here to turn 3 where Kevin Lacroix is faster, and then it's from turn 3 to right there where Alex Tagliani seems faster. To go this time, let's see what the difference is on the clock. Alex Tagliani with a 1:17.6, Kevin Lacroix with a 1:17, come on, 5. So did not make up a bunch, but Marc-Antoine Cameron sure did.
Boy, a 1:17.1 for the driver, the GM Pinty number 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron. And remember, Cameron will be in that car. His sleeves are fully rolled up because he has done the layman's job today. Starting in 18th position, he's in 3rd, and Monahan problems in turn number 3 as the leaders manage to sneak through.
Oh boy.
Monahan's looking for a way to get going. 3 laps to go. Last time we crossed the stripe.
We remain under green for the time being. Kevin Lacroix trying to hold off the 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. It looks like he is not able to keep pace with that 18 of Alex Tagliani, but boy, oh boy, it sure is close.
He's going to need some help of a lap car just ahead to take Tagliani off his game just a little bit. I think he has enough of a gap that he can hold off the 74 for the last couple laps. Kevin Lacroix really needs to be there on the back bumper.
There is a slower car up ahead. I'm not sure who it is, so I'm not sure how much slower they are than the race leaders. But with 2 laps to go, they likely will catch that race car. It just depends what part of the racetrack will they close in. If it's in the tight section between turn 3 and turn 10, that could be a big problem for Alex Tagliani.
1.09 is the difference at the line as the number 9 of Brandon Watson. Something has broken in the back end of that car as it crabs down the straightaway. Again, that blue flag being waved, and look how much The 74 has been able to catch the 18.
Problem for Alex Tagliani. He leads the way, but that car is all over the racetrack. Kevin Lacroix is right there. Marc-Antoine Camerand is right there. There's 2 laps to go.
You can throw a blanket over the top 3 right now as Alex Tagliani fights an ill-handling NTN Bearings number 18 race car. He is fighting for his life, hanging on to the edge of a cliff with his fingernails, trying to keep the 74 of Kevin Lacroix at bay.
Kevin Lacroix he's looking for that win. It's been a little while for the 74 of Lacroix, not been to victory lane so far in 2023. Camerand right behind them has been to victory lane. White flag gonna fly, 1 more lap to go.
If Tagliani is hanging on to the edge of a cliff, Kevin Lacroix is the guy poking his fingers with a stick. He wants him to fall, and he wants to be able to sneak by here on this final lap as Lacroix turns up the pressure here down Lakeshore, going towards one of the best passing points in turn number 3.
At this point in the race, with this gap, 1/10 of a second between the leaders, I want to be in second place. I don't want to be leading. Lacroix to the outside.
Tagliani will be able to defend on the inside in turn number 3. They do make a little contact. It's just a brush between the right front of Kevin Lacroix and the left rear of Alex Tagliani.
Tagliani used up Kevin Lacroix there. He pushed him off the line. That is basically permission for Kevin Lacroix to do what he has to do. He is going to size him up, and Kevin Lacroix has turn number 8 to look forward to. Watch for the move in turn 8. Can Lacroix get close enough?
But this is where Tagliani's better than Kevin Lacroix, under braking in turn number 8. Lacroix not quite close enough. They'll move to turn number 9. He's fighting to gain that ground back. The 18 of Alex Tagliani will lead him through the final corners.
It'll come down to the final turn. Tagliani makes the turn to the left. He'll see the checkered flag in the air. They're going to race to the finish line in Toronto. Alex Tagliani wins the Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto. Kevin Lacroix right on his tail. Marc-Antoine Camerand comes home third. Holy moly, what a race. Well, that was fun.
That was a good one as LP Dumoulin comes home in 4th. Andrew Ranger, Trayton Lapsevich, JP Bergeron in 7th. Alex Gannett, DJ Kennington, and Matthew Scannell round out the top 10. But what a run at the front for Alex Tagliani, and holding off a hard-charging Kevin Lacroix and an even harder-charging number 96 of Marc-Antoine Camerand.
Alex Tagliani did what he needed to do. Let's look at your top 10. LP Dumoulin 4th, Andrew Ranger fades to 5th. Solid day for our points leader, Trayton Lapsevich. Career day for JP Bergeron. Great job with the 7th place result. Alex Gannett 8th, DJ Kennington 9th, and Matthew Scannell with a very sound top 10 finish.
And the rest of the top 20, that's where you see Kyle Steckley managed to salvage a 12th place. Larry Jackson 13th. Daryl Timmers his first start inside the top 15. Sam Fellows recovers for a 16th. Brandon Watson another day in the number 9, 17th today, and Thomas Neveu with his issues down in 19th position. The smoking JF LaBerge rounds out the top 20, and the rest of the field, most of these drivers ended their day on pit lane.
What a show it was once again on the streets of Toronto. We don't add a new winner to the list, but man, oh man, what a race it was. I'm going to head over, Dave, to victory lane.
Once again, if you've been joining us on the live stream, we thank you very much for joining us here today. Next trip will be out west. We'll make a stop in Edmonton, then a stop back in Saskatoon. But a big congratulations to Alex Tagliani, the winner of the Tiffany Gate Grand Prix of Toronto.